Hi everyone, hope you're doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, there are several leaders who have been meeting and they have been organizing themselves as the voice of the voiceless and the real opposition, in what they refer to as the united opposition. They are yet to go into any political agreement or coalition arrangement. They are not yet there. But somehow, in one way or another, there is a way they are trying to work together, maybe to try and realize that in the near future. So, if you look on how they have been playing their politics, you will see Fred Matiangi, you will see Rigathi Gachagua, Eugene Wamalwa, Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua. They have been meeting. And if you have to mention these leaders as the united opposition, you would have to mention all of them. But for the first time, we had Rigathi Gachagua in his speech cleverly avoiding to mention the name of one Fred Okengo Matiangi. He talked about the united opposition that cannot buy into William Ruto's threat, intimidation, or whatever. He went on to mention Martha Karua, Kalonzo Musyoka, George Natembeya, Eugene Wamalwa, and himself, without mentioning Fred Matiangi's name on that list. So to that extent, people are asking questions. Why would Rigathi Gachagua exclude or skipped Fred Matiangi's name in his speech, and even went on to say that they are a team of about, is it 6? He said 6 of us. But not George Natembeya, Fred Matiangi was not among the people that he mentioned. Why?
Nimeketi na Martha Karua hawezi tingishwa. Juzi nimeongea na Natembeya. Akaniambia mtu akisikia ameenda kwa Ruto, ile watu wako karibu na yeye wamshike wapeleke yeye Mathare. So between myself, Kalonzo, Eugene Wamalwa, Martha Karua, George Natembeya, those 5 leaders cannot betray the people of Kenya. And among us, tutatoa mtu moja wa kungangana na William Ruto. Tumekubaliana?
Actually, this team had 6 people. Now, Gachagua has mentioned 5 people. The name and even mentioning the number 5. It has a serious reason and indication going forward. I would want us to look into that. But before we go deep in the discussion, I have a quick and humble request. For those who are watching the channel and you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. To our returning subscribers, I must say thank you so much. And again to all our viewers, please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much, and back to our discussion. I think the first and obvious reason, and all of you, by the way, are aware of this, is that Fred Matiangi went to the Jubilee NDC. He met with Uhuru Kenyatta, who seemingly showed no any interest of supporting Gachagua and William Ruto. In fact, he hit hard on Ruto, and there are issues he talked about these people, and some were touching on Gachagua. Now, here is the main reason. Jubilee Party. Fred Matiangi wants to be endorsed as the next Jubilee Party leader, to take the mantle of Jubilee. There's a problem Rigathi Gachagua has with the Jubilee Party as far as Mount Kenya region politics is concerned. The issue is about Mount Kenya region politics. In fact, Gachagua would even want Uhuru to support the team. But the issue of Jubilee Party and Mount Kenya region politics comes to play, which makes him not to accept or create hostility with anyone who supports Jubilee Party. Now, Gachagua has come with the DCP Party. He wants to make the DCP Party the Mount Kenya origin party. That it has originated, our politics is local. I always say this. ODM Nyanza inaanzia huko. UDA Rift Valley kikiharibika itabaki ya huko. ANC ilikuwa hapa wakasema village party ya Waluya kadhaa. Hata paka wakasema ni ya Vihiga. Look at Wiper Party. It's originating from Kamba. Gachagua wanted to create that. That DCP will be associated largely with the people of Mount Kenya. Now, when you bring Jubilee, remember Jubilee, it was also associated largely with the people of Mount Kenya, but this party has reduced their numbers. Nadhani wako na wabunge karibu 25 kwa saa hizi. Wale waliopigiwa kura chini ya uongozi wa chama cha Jubilee. So 25 is a good number. But now looking into the future, if the party is going to be revamped, then they have a presidential candidate like Freddie Matiangi. Then it means the party will still have their root well grounded in Mount Kenya. That is meant to challenge DCP party. For those who will not get the DCP party ticket, their only hope would be like Jubilee. So you might have good candidates, but out of the good you have to choose one. Huyu mwingine ataenda wapi? If you have that option, the next candidate will run to that other political party. So if they have numbers there, it's a problem. That is one of the major reasons Gachagua is so much uncomfortable with Freddie Matiangi. Because through him, Jubilee Party can be revived. So, there is something that Gachagua is looking into. That in as much I might not be the flag bearer, kama koti haitamruhusu, at least he need to have enough numbers in terms of members of parliament. And even without that raw power, he can still control the parliament through his numbers. Kiwa na wabunge wa kutosha. What has made ODM to exist for this long? At least they had numbers. And even Raila, with these numbers outside the government, he could control. Sometimes it appeared you negotiate with him. So Gachagua is worried that someone will dig into his constituency, that he believes that it's going to put him somewhere on a map of Kenyan politics. So that is the major reason. The other reason that people are now trying to believe from those who are selling it is that there are those who are believing that Uhuru Kenyatta is not really in this opposition, but instead he is being used by William Ruto to divide the opposition. But it's coming with a language of confusion by attempting to attack the government, that he will be seen as a man who speaks for the people. But at the end of the day, his interest is dividing opposition. So that now you bring Matiangi, put him somewhere, make him popular. Then you bring the discussion like what Gachagua is now doing. You divide. And once it's divided, troopers in the pit, trying to pull a Moi trial again in 2027. There are those who are believing so. That now bringing Matiangi, making him party leader of Jubilee. Then there's also talking about again Uhuru Kenyatta's people in the government akina Kabogo, akina Liki Nyanjui. So there's that belief, but I really still doubt something about that. So looking at the manner in which opposition are quickly reacting on or with emotion, I don't see them making serious political strides going forward. If you will have leaders who will be driven by emotions, that if you are taking this party, I don't want you and all that, I think then Gachagua will be trying to dictate in opposition, which is very wrong. So they might end up killing opposition themselves, knowingly or unknowingly. Tutafika kwa kura kama wameharibu kabisa. Mimi sioni shida kama opposition wanaweza simama, tukue na Jubilee party, tukue na DCP, na zote zikubaliwa Mount Kenya na kwingine, kwa sababu bado kikapu chao ni kile kimoja tu. But then that is politics. I don't know your views. So please let us meet in the comment section so that we can continue with our discussion. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening to me up this far, and see you in our next video.